When we use our attention to suppress feelings that we didn't want to have a long time ago, that attention gets stuck holding that feeling down. But the other thing that gets stuck is the memory. And what gets stuck about it is that instead of feeling the emotion, instead of feeling the qualities of an event that we didn't want to experience and letting it happen in the moment and then just resolving as we feel it, if we suppress a feeling that we don't want, it now gets stuck in our body, and our body believes that that event is perpetually happening. So it comes up with appropriate mechanisms to cope with it. We come up with blinders, so end up not noticing information. You know, if you got fired by a blonde and then rejected by a blonde and then laughed at by a blonde and then fired by another blonde yet again, eventually you're just not going to like blondes. Like, there's just no way around that. That's how our subconscious works. But you'll get these blinders that will tell you that no blondes are trustworthy, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's one example of our body trying to cope with an event or a series of events we didn't like. Another one is filters. If a blonde comes up to us, we're at a cocktail party and we've had a lot of bad experiences with blonde women, and a blonde comes up to us and says, "Hey, I really like this classical music." We're not even going to hear what she says. We're going to filter it. We're going to translate it into something that makes sense to us. And we might hear her say something like, "You can't keep up with me. I'm too smart for you." And this really does happen. And we might not notice until we stop suppressing those old feelings. But a third thing that happens, which you've probably felt in your life, are latent tendencies. These are programs that your body comes up with to cope with a situation that actually isn't happening anymore, but we'll get a response such as, an example from your life. If you've ever done anything that you swore you'd never ever do again because you saw how it impacted your friends or your family, and guess what? And then a couple months later, a year later, you catch yourself doing it again. It's because some old memory has been rekindled, right? And your body thinks that that old thing you suppressed is happening still right now. And so it comes up with this program for you to cope with it. It's ridiculous, but that is how humans have figured out how to cope with the aspects of life that they don't like. And unfortunately, it just sort of happened unconsciously. It's not just cultural. It happens in I haven't been all over the world, but everywhere I've been, I've noticed this mechanism. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. The really good news here is that it turns out that we were trained into doing that, right? Life actually taught you that that was the way to do things, and it's just the way things are. However, it's not true. You can train your body in another way. You can train your body to experience life as it happens, good or bad, and you can train yourself to resolve feelings and resolve the negative impacts of events as they happen. Ultimately, if you remember this picture of the guy with all this attention, when you reclaim all of that attention and you're no longer suppressing old events, this means that you also no longer filter the world. You're no longer blinded, to aspects of life that your mind thinks might harm you. And you no longer run patterns to cope with situations that aren't even real anymore. It's really fantastic to just live your life and not be worried about, I hope I don't do that again. This is about real inner freedom, because it's about freedom to really be yourself, with all the added programming. The good news is that programming didn't come from somewhere else. It came from you. You did it by suppressing feelings you didn't want. The good news about that is that because you did it, you can undo it. And you can reverse that, and you can reclaim that attention. And, you're going to learn how to do that if you keep watching these videos.